third time trying to go live. So, still figuring that whole thing out. But someday I will have it. And whew, it's been a day. Okay, so today I am excited to do Granny Square Sunday with you and to talk through this vest. It is too big. It is basically the sides that I added. You can see that adds a lot of volume in here. Yeah, the picture for the live was actually me wearing 2 layers, or like wool shirt and then a sweatshirt on top of that. And then I put this on and it was still baggy. Um, and I'm not a particularly small person. So that will tell you right there that this is just on the big side. I don't know how big, but I am going to have to frog this last row. Sad, but true. And in doing so, I'm going to basically just take these 2 squares out, and I feel like that will actually make it more or less the perfect size. I plan to wear something like this, like a thin wool shirt under it, and I think that will just make it perfect. I may do a Granny Square live this next week because I might be on travel. We shall see if the weather cooperates. But if it does, I may just take the opportunity to go ahead and go live. So for now, I am going to go ahead and take the opportunity to frog. So sad. I mean, we've all been there, we've all done it, and it is not the end of the world. This is why I tried it on before I wove in ends, because I suspected that there might be a problem. By the time I was getting towards the end of this, I was like, this seems a little more voluminous than I expected. So the tricky thing for me will be that I actually planned to I planned the whole thing so that I could do a continuous join. And if it's not continuous join, what are we even doing here? So I'm hoping I can still do continuous join, and that I'm just going to be pinning these sides together and it will still look marvelous. So I'm going to be very cautious in my frogging because I don't want to lose where I am. I do find this to be utterly satisfying to frog, so I'm going to try to show it to you. So I don't know how everyone else does frogging, but I tend to do it with, especially this is just a couple of rows. I mean, 8 granny squares, but who's counting? Me. So I tend to do it around my fingers until it gets to be pretty thick. Let's see where we've got this to. So you can see that's pretty good and thick, and then I start to wrap that. And that's how I always start a ball of yarn. I have seen, my mom used to tell me that sometimes people used a ring to start a ball of yarn. I think that's a dangerous game. But she was constantly purchasing, or not purchasing, but she would look at balls. Maybe she did purchase at balls of yarn or balls of rags, rag yarn that were at thrift stores, because she was like, you just never know what somebody started a yarn ball with. And I love that idea of a treasure in there, but that's not how I start them. Seems like a dangerous game. Okay, we have one down. Now I'm going to be careful because it looks like I'm going to be frogging across the back, and then when I get to this front panel, I will stop frogging and I will actually just join them again, so that I've just basically removed this. So I guess I'm only frogging 6 granny squares, which doesn't sound quite as bad as 8. Still way more than I want to be frogging. I was hoping to just add this next row in, but yeah. I don't know if anyone looked at my description. I thought I was pretty darn clever, so I'm going to share it with you since I thought I was so clever. So if you are familiar with the, I think it's a Shakespeare quote, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. And that's where the of mice and men title came from. I'm sure you all know this, but I'm a literary nerd, and so I thought I would share anyway. Oh dear. Oh dear, what have we done here? Okay. Gotta keep my wits about me here. Okay. Oh dear. This did not go to plan. I was hoping I was just doing this bottom row. Wow, this is looking trickier. Okay. I will keep, you know, Granny Square Sunday is supposed to be about constructing. Oh, hello. What are we doing? We are taking apart, if you see the picture, I made myself a vest out of these granny squares, although it's just, you know, I need another row of it. But as you see in the picture, it is over a large baggy sweatshirt and another shirt under that, and then this still fit with lots of room. The picture doesn't quite show how much room it had under the arms, but it had so much. So I am frogging this bad boy so that I can get rid of the two armpit ones. So there were ones that were under the armpit, and then yeah, that's what we're working on today. And it is sort of the nerve-wracking part for me is I did all of that math and modeling. We'll call it modeling, but it was really just drawing it out on a whiteboard, trying to figure out how to do the continuous join. I'm gonna have to redo all of that because we'll see how far we have to go to get those underarm parts out. But so far, this is not going the way I was hoping it would. Anyway, how are you? How is your Sunday going? Let's see. Okay, I've got the second square out. And let me show you what the yarn is that I'm using. I am using the Red Heart all-in-one granny square, and this is the color Black Silver Sea. Oh, I didn't think to get the link for it, but I will. What if you do some joining that is more lacy for more shape? That is a great idea, but here's what I was following. I was following this vest on the front, and I kind of like the boxy look of it, especially because she's also wearing hers over a sweatshirt, which should have been a clue, but it wasn't. So I'm just going to take out these middle ones, the under the arm ones, and then I think that'll bring it in enough because that's 2 full granny squares worth of width plus the continuous join edges. So I think that will be enough to make it still a little baggy. Nobody wants a super tight granny square vest, but it will make it, you know, tolerably baggy. As opposed to ridiculously baggy. I thought about trying to sell it, but I thought I didn't know. You know, I've never actually sold anything that I've made. I love to just make stuff and I love to make gifts for people, but I've never sold anything. And so that felt like another barrier to entry. Third granny square out. Okay, so where are we at here? Okay, whew. Looks like, oh man, this is quite the removal process. I do hope to make another. I was actually thinking, you know, it would look really nice. I made a balaclava. I had to do some decreases near the temple and cheeks to make it look less boxy. Oh, I've seen, was it a granny square balaclava? I've seen a granny square balaclava and it had like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was almost like a helmet looking on the top, and then it had several around the neck. I don't know how many around the neck, but it looked really, really cool. Yeah, the decreasing is a great idea. But I think this volume times 2 is probably more than the decreasing. Yes, with that yarn. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I bet that looks amazing. I feel like decreasing by 2 whole squares worth of width is maybe just at that point, it would maybe look a little silly because it was, yeah, it was blousy. We'll call it blousy. All right, next one out. So far I have frogged 1, 2, 3, 4 worth in my continuous join. Whew. I tell you, this does not feel good. This does not feel good. I do not love frogging, especially when I've been so excited. Okay, 5th one out. I've been so excited for making this, and I was hoping to wear it soon. But you know, maybe I'm getting there faster than I know by frogging it because it'll make it a smaller vest and so less to add on. I don't know. I feel like I didn't need to really make it smaller because I have a lot of the squares. Okay, so I mean, this is a substantial ball so far. All right. Oh, man. So basically now I'm gonna just have the front panel is what it looks like. Granny Square 6 is out. That is a bummer. So 7, 8 is what we're looking at here. Anyone else making anything real cool today? I would love to hear what you all are crocheting, what you got on the hooks. So outline in single crochet along entire edge and decrease for a tiny curve around neck. Actually, I sent a pic to ChatGPT and it gave me exact directions. Ooh, smart. I have not, the 7th one is out. I have not used ChatGPT for crochet yet, and I feel like I need to. I feel like that maybe would have made this a little bit faster. Okay, so here's what I've got. So instead of putting an extra square here, I'm going to, what am I going to do? This will turn into the back. So I'm not gonna take this one the rest of the way out. I'm just gonna carry on. All right, so I'm going to, I have the rest of this yarn, and this is the Big Twist Value in, what is the colorway here? Denim Blue. That is a great name for that. Look at that beautiful blue. And it's not an exact match, but I think it looks really nice together and complements it super well. Like it's in the same color tone and family. So this is what I'm going to be adding on once I get through the ball of yarn I just unwound. So I'll set this over here so it's out of my way. And here we go. All right. So now I just have the front panel and I've started on the back, and let me grab my crochet hook. I am using the Clover. This is not a Clover Amour, but just a regular Clover Comfort. Is that the one it's called? But a 5.5 millimeter. I believe this is what I used for this. Sometimes I wish I were a person who took better notes. But what fun would that be? It's a little more adventurous to just fly by the seat of your pants. Okay, so we're going to continuous join on here. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, and so when I do my continuous join, I don't do a single crochet to attach them. I do a slip stitch. There are places where I do a single crochet. Usually I do that in the corners if I'm doing like a blanket because I feel like it makes it lay flatter. I don't know if I'll do that for this wearable. So we'll see how that goes. So good news today about the Olympic gold. That was pretty exciting for the hockey team. Go USA. That was, we were sitting in church and we heard about it, and that was kind of fun. Our pastor uses sports analogies way more often than I would think is necessary. But he doesn't go too deep into the weeds with that, thankfully, because I'm not really a big sports person, and that would honestly just kind of fly over my head. But he doesn't go too far into the weeds, so, you know, it's all good. All good. Let's see here. Okay. You know, maybe I should do nope, I'm just going to keep going. All right. So what we've got is this front panel, and we're going to, and this is the shoulders right here. And then I'm going to start on the back panel. I already have that first square there. And then I'm going to add one more, but I'm not going to stitch it to here. I'm just going to go up the side and then down, and we'll just take it from there. We'll see how it goes. I feel a little more flat, loosey-goosey on this one because, as I have said before, I had a plan with the other one. I do not have as good a plan with this one. No whiteboard drawing. I just decided to just go for it because I missed the Granny Square Sunday last Sunday, and I felt really quite bummed about that. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait until I have everything laid out and perfect. This is supposed to be a crochet and chat time. So I'm just going to hop on and crochet and chat. This right behind me is my scrap yarn Granny Square. I love how it's coming together over the years. I'm crocheting a market bag. Oh, I love market bags. I would love to make one. I haven't made one forever. Are you making one out of Granny Squares, or are you doing the chain? What kind of market bag are you making? And are you making it in cotton? I've seen most market bags are in cotton. However, I don't think they need to be. I feel like they could be anything and it would work well. So curious how that's going. Okay, let's see. What have we got here? Ooh, almost to the end of this row. My kiddo is making a cake, and it smells really good up in this house over here. She just made a chocolate cake, which I'm a big fan of chocolate, so no complaints here. Okay, let's see. All right, since I'm doing a crochet continuous join, now I'm going to add, let's see if I can do this without an extra arm or two, but my plan is to add this right here. I'm going to go along this bottom one, so starting here all along there, and then there, and then across. Oh, you're having a blizzard? Oh, that definitely deserves a chocolate cake. Are you in New York by chance, or I guess in the New York region? That's where I heard they were having a blizzard. But that's a great time to sit inside and crochet as long as you're cozy warm and have power, and hopefully you do. And hopefully you're nice and toasty warm. Okay, here we go. Next one to add on. Connecticut. Awesome. That's real close to New York. I had a friend who lived in DC. We used to live in DC, in the DC area, and she moved back home to Connecticut, and I talked to her a couple years after she had moved, and she was raising some kiddos. Yes, blizzard. Yes, New York. Awesome. Northeastern folks. I was talking to this friend after she had moved back home, and it turns out back home was a beautiful small town, Connecticut. And she was like, Amber, it is like I live in Stars Hollow. Why did I ever leave here? She absolutely loved where she moved back to. So I'm going to just imagine that you live in a beautiful place just like that, because I would love to live in a beautiful place just like that. But New York, Connecticut, perfect time to stay indoors and keep yourselves warm. We had really great warm weather last week. It got into the 60s. It was crazy for February, and I'm in Kansas, and we usually have like a few days that are in the 40s or 50s. But the 60s, it was delightful. And I was like, I like a good winter, but I could get used to this spring weather already. And then it was a tease because we went right back down the next day, and we are now, it was real cold this morning. Um, it's, we've got, I mean, not a blizzard and probably no snow, but we've got those winds that just, those prairie winds that bite right through you. So more snow for the Northeast. All right. What, okay, Granny Square Sunday. The next Granny Squares I am hoping to talk about after I finish this vest, which will clearly not be today. But once I do finish this vest, I would love to start talking about this Granny Square blanket that I am making. It's a Mississippi magnolia blanket, and I am so excited because it's my own design that I really, really like. Like, I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to share it with you. I have been crocheting like mad, trying to get it ready, and hopefully, yeah, hopefully it just turns out beautifully. One can never tell with these things, right? Like, I am going to release the pattern for anyone who wants to see it on a paper copy, but then I'm also going to do videos for each of the different steps of the square and then the joining of it. So anyone who wants to join along can join me. And I love the square itself. I won't say it is exactly like a magnolia, but it's magnolia reminiscent. And I love, magnolias are just so pretty. So springtime is on my mind as we are still in the midst of the winter. Alrighty, here we go. I think once I get this square on, it will show me what I need to do to be able to finish this back in the new way. Let's see. I go ahead and, you know, maybe I should turn this down just a touch so you can see my hands a little better. There we go. It's kind of an awkward angle, but what can you do? All right. So here we go. We've got, this is going to be the new sleeve opening. That's a lot better. That is a lot better. There we go. We're getting there. We'll get there. Maybe if I figure out actually how to do a continuous join and figure out, I love magnolias. Me too. Me too. They're my favorite flower. I was a botany major in college, and magnolias are and really part of the oldest family of plants. And so I just feel like they're dinosaur flowers. I mean, they're huge like dinosaurs. They're absolutely beautiful in every way. And the fact that they're so ancient and old just makes them kind of fun. Yeah. I have a tulip magnolia bush in front of my house that I love, 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 but I don't have a big magnolia tree. They don't tend to do, I've seen a couple that have grown successfully around my climate, but I think those are done by people who know what they're doing and actually add the right fertilizers at the right time and that sort of stuff. And I am probably not the right person to do that at this point in my life. Maybe at some point, but not right now. Okay, so I'm just about to join this back sleeve or the shoulder of the back. And here's the new opening. And that feels, I mean, I've got a sweatshirt on again, but that feels a lot more realistic size-wise. Yeah, the other one, bless my heart, I just didn't do it right at all. Okay, so chain one on the corner, and then I'm gonna go, I saw a beautiful one in London with buds not yet in bloom. Ooh, I didn't even know they could go all the way to London. That would not be the first place I would look, but I bet there are some expert horticulturists who know how to make it bloom, even if that's not its native climate. in the South. The reason I named the blanket Mississippi Magnolia is because my daughter and I took a road trip to Alabama for her to go to space camp. And we drove through Mississippi on our way, and it was like a 2-lane highway. And we just got lucky in the timing, and all these beautiful, amazing, huge magnolia trees were everywhere, and they were in full bloom. And it was such a delight to see such gorgeous trees in bloom. And yeah, so when I see great big magnolias, it makes me think of Mississippi in the best way possible. I know Mississippi isn't known for a lot of great stuff, but they've got some good stuff. Magnolias is one of them. Back when I was a kiddo, and I'm a Gen Xer, so it's been a minute. My school that I went to for elementary school was, how shall we say, not the best school. And our scores were, like, our test scores weren't super as a school. And one of my teachers said something that I've just, for whatever reason, got stuck in my head. And she was like, well, at least we're not as bad as Mississippi. No matter how bad you do, you're never as bad as Mississippi. And I was like, what? But it's true, unfortunately, for Mississippi. So many things, if you look, they're like the bottom 50 or 49 for so many things. So I guess that made her feel like a better teacher or something. I don't know why she would say that, but it's kind of funny. All right. I'm so excited that this is almost one shoulder attached. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. And then I will try to go down this side, and I will probably have to sign off because I did not plan this well. And, well, actually, it took me 3 tries to get on. I kept doing silly things like recording with no mic on. And then what was the other one that I did? I recorded to the side again, and I was like, I cannot record to the side again. Come on. So done a couple of silly things, and I was just like, you know what? 3rd time's a charm, and it was. But it also used up quite a bit of my battery to do all those silly things. Okay, so this is what, I'm gonna pull that out a little. So this is what the armhole will look like now. It will have one more layer on the bottom, at least. I actually thought this might be a cute dress, like a jumper thing. That is a much more reasonable sized armhole. I could probably still fit my head through it, but at least it wouldn't be, you know, like a cowl. So I think we're off to a good start here. And thank you so much for joining me on your snowy Sunday blizzard day. I hope that means y'all don't have school or work tomorrow, and that you get to stay home and be cozy, and that you don't lose power. Fingers crossed that you don't lose power. Thank you for joining me, and I'm going to sign off. All right, bye-bye.